Hi there, it's Linda Kaye here. Welcome to season 3 of Money Talk. This season, we're talking a lot about building back better. And our entire season is totally focused on those that have done the same thing or are in the process of doing the same thing. Because sometimes our recovery isn't a straight line, is it? The season of uncovering these stories and the most people hide is not the polished wins, but the hard chapters. The ones that break you open before they build you back up. And trust me when I tell you that after I lost my home, I learned that building wasn't a straight line. In fact, we're nearly 12 months later, and I only just got a clearance for the debris removal. I just got clearance for, I'm telling you, you think it's going to go forward. It says it's an over-the-counter, and it takes 4 months to get an over-the-counter. That means there's a lot of repeat trips back and forth to building and safety. And then just to get some dang electricity, I'm going to tell you what, I was beginning to think, oh, well, okay, then I'm just going to put one of those fuel generators on the property, and we're going to get going from there. Have you ever had to transfer 5 gallons of gasoline in a container that you have to put it into a container, lift the container because those things are heavy, put it into the back of your car, and then take it to the property, walk across? Doesn't that all sound kind of dangerous? Yeah, it does. That's the zigzag line that I'm talking about. Sometimes we're in the danger zone. Sometimes we move farther ahead. Sometimes the hardest part isn't the destruction itself. It's the facing the pieces of your life that you'd hoped you'd never have fallen apart. Money. Money is often the first thing that cracks under pressure. And in my instance, my insurance company canceled me before the fire. I scrambled to get the California Fair Plan, which, many understand it's not fair. So the amount of money that was given to me is half of what has to take place in order for that house to get rebuilt. So that's just one limitation. Money doesn't fix everything, but it sure makes everything easier, doesn't it? Here's the truth. Behind every financial crisis is an emotional one. Now think about that. The numbers on paper can collapse, but it's the beliefs underneath. I can do it. I'm going to keep doing it. I can get back up. I mean, that's my whole theme. That's why I'm doing this show. I'm going to get back up. But the patterns and the wounds and the buried stories that make up our lives and make up the lies we tell ourselves, well, those things can hold you back. But that is also how it determines how we're going to rise again. Our greatest gift and our greatest guest today is the understanding of this, that understands us better than anybody else. So I've got 2 things I want you to do right now. What I want you to do is stay tuned with me because we've got lots of things to talk about and lots of things to uncover and lots of wounds and stories. And well, there are things here that I think you should not keep to yourself and you should share them. So that's the second thing. Share, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned. I'll be right back.
I can show you how to be strong. Come on, follow me. Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up, look up, look up, look up.
I got something to give. I have something to say. You know you got something to do.
Welcome to the stage, Linda Kaye.
This, but it doesn't matter. We're here. Our guest today understands the challenges that we've got more than anybody else. She didn't just face bankruptcy once. She got really good at it by the 3rd time. Her first in the 20s, chaos, second in the 2008 crash, and most people would have just simply stayed down. But through her human design, her work in decoding the energetic patterns that are within all of us, she discovered the emotional roots of her financial patterns tied to self-worth, the worth to identify those parts and to be able to understand them and how to do something about it. That something so long ago told us we didn't deserve it, or we deserved more, or we didn't deserve this. Well, as a result, she has turned her pain into purpose, founding Fix Yourself and Flaunt It, baby, creating the the Debt Decoder, and getting others to rewrite their money story from the inside out. I'd like to say that her journey is a reminder that even when our your power doesn't have to. Pain is a signal to rise, not to retreat. Because if you don't take that pain and do something with it, understand it, turn it around, you're going to be suffering. And let me just tell you, suffering is a choice. Please join me in welcoming to the stage, AmyNicole Ellis.
Well, hello.
Hey, Amy, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me, Miss Linda. I appreciate it.
I am so thrilled. I'm so excited to have somebody as strong. You know, strong women we get a bad rep being a strong woman, don't we?
Oh,
we get
yes.
told, oh, well, you know, you're expecting way too much because you're a woman. Okay, I'm a human being first, and all the other things that we add to it. But we get told in our childhood, in our identity, our parents' story, right? And I would like to think that in every generation, we're going to get better and better and better. But there's some things that we just kind of hang on to in our hobo kit into our next life or into the next transition in parts of our life, that we hang on to some of that old stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Tell me about the hidden connection between human design and money behavior.
Ooh. Well, we are, of course, we're made up of energy along with other things. Human design is an energetic blueprint of how we are wired. And it's based off of three things: date of birth, time of birth, and where you're born. So
what?
Those are things.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
It can't be that easy.
It is
right?
that easy. It's nothing that we have to think
Why
about.
are we making it so difficult then? Oh my Lord have mercy. Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to write this down because this could explain a whole lot of stuff. Okay, time of birth.
Yes.
Date of birth.
Mm-hmm. And where you're
and
born.
What was your where? Okay.
Correct.
And why? Let's talk about the geography of this first. Why is the geography important?
Well, like us now, you're on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. Different things are happening. It's probably sunny there. It's freezing cold here. So
well, if you'd had asked me at 6 o'clock this morning, I would have said it's freezing. But yes, I take your point. Our sun rises differently and stays up longer and hotter. And
Absolutely.
if I've talked to Karen, who's in the Philippines, she'd say, "Oh Lord, you both, neither one of you know what hot is." Right. So, all right. So I get I get the geography, but why the time? Why the date?
Well, it's part of science. It's all of like has also deal with like some astrology a little bit, not too much on that, but it every time has a different meaning to it. And where, of course, like we just said, where you're born, and of course the date. It all blends together, and it's all part of the science of it. The originator of human design, Ra Uru, he came up with this glorious process back in the 80s, and how he went on a self journey to realize to discover all this. And the fascinating thing is, it's not dealing with the mind, it's dealing with factual stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's interesting because most of us want to blame, things that we have no control of. My childhood, I didn't have any control of that. I didn't even ask to be here, right? So I can blame it on my mom or my dad or, something that happened in Sunday school or other things. But you're talking about things that you can't argue with, and that is a fact. You can argue with an opinion, but you cannot argue with a fact, right? Absolutely. So I get the science piece of that. I like that. All right. Before we delve into this human design, and I'm completely fascinated by this. I'm around a lot of what I like to call woo-woo people that are using this, but woo-woo is now entering the universities. One of my associates is now a professor at a guest professor at Stanford and UCLA and at all the big universities that are now understanding, as these students are prepared to come up out of graduate school, human design is a very big piece of what they're teaching. Why is that so important?
Wow, I did not know that part. Well,
Isn't that fascinating?
It is fascinating, right? And I'm glad it is, because it shows our potential. Our human design chart shows our potential of what we can be in life, or who we be, as it says. And it also, you mentioned, in your introduction, patterns. There are certain patterns that if we evaluate our chart and just study it, we can pick up on some things. Case in point, my 3 bankruptcies. Well,
of course, I'm so glad you brought that up, because you're talking about something that most people fear, and you didn't just face it once; you did it 3 times. What did you learn each time you went through that? And then the most important one, which was the most recent, was now you're going to use a tool to scientifically get yourself out of this pattern, so you never do this again.
Absolutely. So each time, well, the first time, like you said, I was in my late 20s. And now looking back on it, I knew better, because I was brought up, pay your bills on time before the due date.
What?
But I got with someone, and they were like, no, you have a grace period. I'm like, oh, really?
So you mean I don't have to pay it on the 1st if it says due on the 1st, late on the 5th? Right. I could have 16 more days and float. Listen, banks have been doing this for so long, they float the margin. This is all going to change when the money system changes, of course. But, it isn't just us, okay? We learned this, but you call this the young and dumb phase. But what were the patterns that you now recognize in that early financial decision component? And it wasn't just the guy or the gal or the person that said, hey, you can just float this for 15. You've actually got 15, 16 more days. Something else was deeper and farther back. I got a hint.
Well, over leveraging, and I guess just wanting more for myself. I was raised as the only child. I'm spoiled to this day. My 99.
There's nothing wrong with this. I'm one of 9, and I spoil myself as often as possible, right? Because nobody else is going to do it.
Absolutely. Look, my 99-year-old grandmother still slips me money. That little hand slip. So I'm still spoiled. Hilarious. But nevertheless, wanting more. And of course, knowing that, we can have credit cards. They do that in college. You go to college, get a credit card. And it's like, I just wanted more. And looking back, I over leveraged, not understanding the actual credit card process. I like to say I'm blessed with delayed response. And it's like, I'm just now getting it. Like, oh, so that's what happens with the interest if you don't pay it off in one setting. Got it. So wanting more, being greedy, and over leveraging.
I don't know that I agree that greed is at the root of this. I would agree that mismanagement, wanting more, is innate in us. Isn't that a human quality? If we didn't, we would stay. I always liken it to the grain of sand in an oyster. It creates that beautiful pearl. Without that resistance, we will stay young and dumb, right? So we're happy that we never make that change. I also refer to it, as divine discontentment. If we were divinely content, we'd never make a change. We'd never make a move. We would never hear that still small voice that says, get up and go, pick up the tent and move on. We wouldn't do that. So I don't know that I call it wanting more greed, but I would agree that the mismanagement of something and over leveraging is a concept that you're not taught in school. Nobody teaches finances in school, Amy. I'm telling you, they just don't. And still to this day, as much as we say this ought to be taught in school, we're still not seeing it. I mean, the closest I got to it when I was growing up, was home ec. Okay, I learned how to create a budget or a menu or how to shop, but I didn't. It stopped right there. So I still shop. I've had to self-teach, right? So
Absolutely.
in this process, so you learn some tools along the way. You learn, okay, there's a discipline with money. Now I'm going to start talking around some things that kind of weave into your human design, because it does require a certain amount of discipline. That's called nature. Nature is very disciplined. And then not over leveraging. What happens if Mother Nature over leverages? It dumps, atmospheric rivers on people and weird things that we're starting to see happen that we claim are not global warming. But what was going through your mind when the sheriff knocked on your door?
Ooh. Oh, when he knocked on my door, I was like, when did this start happening? In my head, I was like, that didn't happen. Look, 2 bankruptcies.
That didn't happen the first time. Why is it happening this time? What was at
Exactly.
stake the second time? What was it? Okay, so now in the first time that you go through this, you go, okay, I can't handle this, and I could get out. Stakes aren't that high. You don't have that much to lose. You're in your 20s, I'm going to guess.
Right.
The second time this happens, you're now, we're in the 2008s, and everybody knows what happened with the financial crash. But you lost multiple properties now. You got smarter about money. You started figuring out how to leverage, and that credit cards could be leveraged, loans could be leveraged. But when the income is surpassed by the outcome or the expenses, your outcome is going to be disastrous, right?
Right.
So where were you when that sheriff knocked on your door?
When the sheriff knocked, that was on my third one, bankruptcy.
Oh no.
Yeah. And that's when I was like, oh, okay. And what led to the third one was I lost my job in 2021. Well, yes, in 2021. So in 2021, I switched careers because during COVID, I was in HR at a skilled nursing facility. So we had a revolving door with like CNAs and all that. And I was getting frustrated because we all know what was happening in 2020. So I was like, okay, let's just do something totally different. So I found what I thought at the time was my dream job, working from home in the mortgage industry. Because it's like, okay, I had properties before. I was in real estate. I know a little bit.
I know what this is, right?
Right. So 2.5 months later, 21 of us gets laid off. And I'm like, okay, I've never been on this end of it. I'm always on the other end, letting people go. So it's like, oh, okay. So I thought I'd be smart. And the first thing I did was contact the credit card companies. Hey, I lost my job. Don't I have some type of protection? Blah, blah, blah. And they did work with me. But then when it's like the money started thinning out, I was like, oh, okay. Am I going to live? Or am I going to pay off credit cards that I don't use that are closed? So I chose to live.
That is a very interesting. Now, many people make these decisions, Amy, but it depends on how much debt you got. So, right. So you've notified them. They may or may not give you any reprieve. Most credit card companies don't, unless you have. To our viewers, unless you've got some sort of a protection built into it, and those are costly, and you have to have them on at the time of your disaster, you're not going to get any reprieve. No free lunch here. There's no free lunch. They want their money, and they know what they want. Were your credit cards used to take you into this next circumstance, or were you living off the cards?
Well, let's see. I was being frivolous, to be honest. I was being frivolous with it because during that moment, I was heavily into real estate investing. It was like, yes, I lost property, but, stuff happens. So it's like, okay, so, I'm investing in programs and, putting it on the charge card. Yes, yep. I'm going to make 30,000 in a month. Yeah, all that. Guilty. I admit. And like I said, I over leveraged, overspent, thinking I was going to do something, and then life hits and I don't follow through. So that's how all the credit cards got. I had 3, so that's how it got built up.
Oh my goodness. A cautionary tale to all of our viewers, the viewers that are joining or that have been here. I'm telling you, it's so easy, and they need to take a little bit of responsibility here too. They extend the credit to us. But I think in the 2008 period for me, it was borrow from one, right? Get those 0% credit cards and then just keep floating them back and forth and always paying them. That's kind of how you stay ahead of the game. I never got behind. But now you're facing that third bankruptcy. What do you learn? How did burnout contribute to your unraveling that followed?
Oh my goodness. So when I was at the bankruptcy hearing, and it was virtual, I was in my space that I'm in now, my happy space, but I wasn't happy. And in that moment, I was like questioning myself. Why am I here? At the time I was, I think 51, going on 52. I think, let's just say 51. I was 51 years old. Like, why am I here again? But it's like, okay, Amy, you went through this before. You still came out on top. And just think, once this happens, your credit is not going to tank like most people's credit tanks. And why, you ask? Because I was smart that someone said you need to be an authorized user on someone who pays their bills on time and has excellent credit. That way it'll raise your credit score up. So that's what I did. And a year later, I applied for a loan.
Say that again, because for whatever. Hold on a second, Amy. Repeat that, because that's an important thing to say, and the sound was getting wavery. I think I think the spirit world didn't want anybody else to hear this, so you're going to repeat it.
I rebuke it. What I said was I was put on someone's credit card as an authorized user. That person has great credit, pays their bills on time, and no, I do not have that card. Most people would take that information and do it vice versa. In other words, a parent would use their child's credit, Social Security, and run up their credit, and then they're like SOL when they get older to use the credit. However, a year later, when someone was like, how do you know that? Because we do that for our children. I didn't know if I should be mad when this person told me that, or if I'm like, okay, well, I know I'm on the right, I'm doing the right thing. But yes, if that's
how interesting. That is something I have heard a lot of things, Amy, but that's not one of them. I am fascinated by this. Okay, go on. Tell me more.
So my mother put me on her as an authorized user. And when I filed bankruptcy, typically when you file bankruptcy, your credit tanks. However, mine remained and continues to grow. I'm in like the mid to high sevens.
Oh, good for you.
Yes. And it's only been about 3 years. Yeah. So that right there.
That's fascinating. That's really fascinating. Now, you learn something else in this process. You learn, I'm not going to do this again. I got another get out of jail card, right? But now what are you doing? What do you do with this information?
Well, this information that I, like with the bankruptcies, I looked through it and it's like, okay, I'm not a failure, even though I felt like it, but in hindsight, no, it's just data.
The system's designed to make you feel like a failure. You know that.
Right. So it's like, oh, it's data. So now I know. And this last time it's like, okay, I get it now. Perfect. Don't spend. If I'm putting it on the card, I need to make sure I have enough money to pay it off on or before the due date, full circle. and get a card that is 0%. And like you said, just little things, I'll put it on there as long as I know that I can pay it off. So that's one. When it comes to the patterns, And when I started learning human design, it was like the whole thing, my whole life made sense. One, I have an open will center, and that's kind of where the money patterns come from. And that's where it pretty much starts. When you have an open center, you gravitate towards either positive or negative from the universe. And that's what happened. However, my profile, which contains a 2-digit number, I'm a 4-6. The 6 is on the unconscious side. That 6 line is trial and error, 3 phases. The 3 bankruptcies, those were my 3 phases, because I could not go through that and be where I am right now, Linda, talking to you and your audience and sharing my story if I didn't go through that. Not to say I wanted to, but I had to go through that.
Nobody chooses misery, trust me.
Right. To be where I am to share my story.
Now tell me, because I'm not sure why our audio or video is acting up today, but it is. And I think that the message that you're saying that you have is so important for the listeners to hear. So in this last piece, if I understand you correctly, you went to the human design and discovered the elements, the factual elements of your birth date, and how this was affecting, and that there were 3 individual, and I'm going to say them, timelines that you needed to go through. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
Pretty much for my design, yes. I had to go through those 3 different phases. Yes.
3 phases. Okay, so now you're done with the phase. What's next?
Oh, you're never done. I am never done. I'm still learning. And that's the beautiful thing about it. I'm continuing to learn. I'm actually getting certified as a human design consultant. I don't like the word coach. I like the word consultant. And the funny thing is, when I started learning this, it's like, I just want to do high level. Then I get into it. I start studying myself. It's like, no, people need to know this. People in my position, one, maybe financial, that's going through some stuff, they need to see how they're wired. Can it tell you if you're going to file bankruptcy? Yes. No, I mean, not really, but it shows you your patterns. And
no, because you know what, every one of these things what you're talking about are options on these lines, these things that happen. I mean, these patterns might be identified, but they don't tell you how it's going to end. We're all individual. Like you could have said, okay, I can't take any more of this stress, and I can start over with this, and here we go. We're going to start again. And then that's your option. For other people, they're not going to take that option. They're going to say, I got too much to lose, so I can't do bankruptcy, right? So these are choices that we make. But I love the fact that you have identified a tool that you can use to help yourself. And don't we all need to fix ourselves before we fix somebody else?
Absolutely. And it depends on how you fit. Because I hear people, well, you can't fix yourself. Depending on what? Depending. This right here, I mean, I'm fixing myself so I can flaunt it, you know. So hence the name of my business. So
when people come to you, when people first come to you, what do they come to you and go, Amy, I got this, and this is happening, and that's happening. And so you go, well, let me just talk with you. And you do a little bit of discovery with them. And now you go, okay, let's take a look at your design. Let's see what's going on. Right?
Right.
And is that how it works?
Yes. And then I look at the chart. I'm not reading your chart. I'm educating you on your chart, because I'm not going to do it for you, but I'm going to highlight things like your centers. Let's see if you're open or if you're defined, because that does make a difference. Case in point, if you have an open, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I want to know. So how long is the process? What does it entail?
Well, downloading your chart. I'm offering a free actual report to your audience. And then they actually get a mini series. I think if you scan the QR code, it goes to a mini series where you can just listen to it, and it gives you the whole overview of the report. That report typically is like a $97 value, and I'm giving it away free. Now,
oh no, you're giving it as a gift. We don't
gift.
have anything for free, Amy.
Yes,
everything is a gift. All right.
Gifting you all this. Now, if you read it and you're like, it's fascinating, then my email address, you'll see, I guess, scrolling, you can email me and say, hey, I want more. How can I work with you? And then we'll set up I'll do a free 30-minute high level, and we'll take it from there.
So now you're doing this business, and you remind us what the name of your business is.
Fix Yourself and Flaunt It.
I'm telling you, this spirit world's like on you today. They do not get better. Oh my goodness. And we were just flashed in and out again. This is so bizarre. I've never seen this happen. Name of the business again is
Fix Yourself and Flaunt It.
Oh my goodness. What is?
Oh, wow. Did it do it again?
Fix Yourself and Flaunt It.
Yes.
We're going to keep doing it. Fix Yourself and Flaunt It. Yes. Grab your gift from Amy today and get on the boat, get on the track, get on your program, and understand what your program is really doing. Because when you don't know what's wrong, how are you going to fix it?
Absolutely.
You can't fix a problem you don't know is there. Get your phone out right now and QR code. Get out your phone. Come on now. Get out your phone and go QR code Amy's gift, free human design report, and take a look at what is in your chart, what is in your direction, what's in your path, what's in the way, what are the obstacles, so you can get them out and start your new year ready to claim your future, ready to claim your success. Oh my gosh, Amy, I am just so delighted to have you on the show today. You are a gift all by yourself. I love your energy. I love the story. And make sure you grab her gift. Because there is nothing free about the work that you are going to do and that you're going to be curious about. Amy, thank you so much. I wish you much, 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 much success. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Linda, for having me.
You're very welcome. And that is it. That is another wrap of a show that we have had. Let's see. I did take you out. You're gone. Sorry. There are buttons that are working against me today. And I'm just going to tell you, that is not going to stop the show. If you like what you saw, you like what you heard, and you would like to be a guest on my show, make sure that you let my team know. And I think we have a link for getting a hold of our producer for the show. But reach out. And your story will help so many others be able to get back up and build back better. Stay with us, and we'll see you next week. Thanks again. Season 3 of Money Talk isn't just about money. It's about recovery, resilience, and expansion, so you can build back better. Your house doesn't have to burn to the ground, but if your business or your life has, and you're ready to share your story, I want to talk to you. Contact me at LindaK360 or call me at 424-395-2885. Remember, your setback is a setup for a comeback. And I promise you'll inspire others to get back up one more time with your story.